welcome Linda Xie, co-founder of Scalar Capital, and Sébastien Audet, co-founder at Zapper. Welcome to you both. This is going to be an intriguing conversation. Zapper is an important DeFi project. Linda Xie is an investor at Scalar Capital who is invested in Zapper. We're going to have a conversation about what Zapper is about and talk to Linda a bit about why she invested in Zapper. Welcome to you both. First, to you, Linda, give us a little bit of a sense of your background. I think I first met you when you were at Coinbase. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the investing space.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us here. I have been really excited about crypto for many years, first coming across Bitcoin in 2011, so invested quite early on in Bitcoin and then also early on in Ethereum. But in 2017, when we saw this proliferation of so many interesting founders and projects coming into this space, I really started to spend more time on the investing side and decided that I wanted to do full-time investing. And so ended up leaving Coinbase late 2017 to start a fund called Scalar Capital. And for me, it's really exciting to get to work with founders like Seb, who are just really passionate about what they're doing and have this clear vision for what the future is going to look like and are onboarding so many new users into this space. So really love to be able to spend full time getting to do that.
Yeah. Seb, over to you. Tell us a little bit about Zapper. What was the problem that you attempted to solve, and how do you think about the solution you're now implementing?
Yeah, well, first, thank you so much for having us. And so in terms of the problem we're solving for DeFi, I'd say it becomes very evident as you start using DeFi. And if I do an analogy to like the early internet, you had a bunch of websites, spread out across the web, and there was no like one place where you could kind of see a curated, organization of all these different, websites. And so in a similar fashion, Zapper kind of groups all, the major DeFi apps out there into one platform where you can track your assets across them and also invest and swap. And so it's really your one-stop shop for DeFi.
So why don't you pull up a screen share and give us an overview of what the protocol does and give us a sense of just the overview, 50,000 for people who may not yet be familiar with it.
Yeah, so this is the Zapper dashboard. I here have a one of my wallets loaded, so sebaudet.eth. And here you can see like a really summary of all your assets, how they're spread out. And so you can see my net worth in Canadian because I'm from Canada, but I could actually put in any currency. Let's put US. And here you have like this nice breakdown of where your assets are spread out. And then here, if I scroll down, you see kind of all the different DeFi apps where I have money. And so you can imagine how confusing and noisy DeFi can be without having a tool like Zapper. I would have to individually go to every app and like update a spreadsheet. That was actually like the first MVP of Zapper, by the way. But really groups everything up in one place. You can also view your NFTs. Right here. And so this is really for the tracking part, but you can also take different actions on Zapper. So let's go to the exchange. And so here we have a bunch of different networks where we support exchanges. I can go from any asset to any other token, say like DAI, for example, and then input an amount. And then you have like general DeFi actions like pooling into adding liquidity to pools, so basically becoming a market maker. You have also the farm tab, where you basically are able to earn governance tokens by staking your liquidity. You have save, where you can earn interest. It's kind of like your regular savings account. You see here, this account is earning interest for these 4 different assets. You can see here the APY, and so the interest you're generating per year. And another cool feature that I like about Zapper is that you can go at the search bar on top and search for any account that exists. And so like a very famous one in DeFi would be, say, Degen Spartan. And then I could bring up his portfolio and see how how well he's doing in this case. And so you can see what he has in his wallet. You can see his deposits and also see like a breakdown per platform. And yeah, that's for any account. So we're really like this neat UI layer on top of a very complex, industry that's growing very rapidly. And we've kind of seen like this Cambrian explosion of apps. And so our focus is really just reducing the general noise for when people coming in, and also for people that are in the space that it's just too hard to keep track of everything.
Seb, I know this is probably an oversimplified metaphor, but in a certain sense, I think of Zapper as kind of what the interface you might be used to if you've got a Chuck Schwab account or an E-Trade account, but for a decentralized space. The challenge being, obviously, these protocols are all decentralized, and how do you aggregate all of that data into a single, dashboard so that you can see what your holdings are, the positions, the history, and then to actually execute an effect on those decentralized protocols from a single place. Is that something that's a rough, sort of quick and dirty way for people who are trying to get their head around Zapper to understand it?
Yeah, that's a good analogy, a good way of putting it.
Linda, jump in here. Talk to us a little bit about how you first met Seb and how you first became aware of Zapper.
So we first were users of Zapper. So at Scalar, that's actually how we manage all our DeFi positions. And myself personally, that's how I manage my DeFi positions. Prior to using Zapper, we were keeping track of everything on a spreadsheet, and it was getting really chaotic to manage. Obviously, not a nice interface. So I was fully aware of it for a while, and so ended up connecting with Seb. I think probably through Twitter at some point. That's kind of how everyone connects in this space these days, and was really excited by the product and clear use case, and it felt very natural for us to invest in them.
Yeah. So Linda, why don't I take a step back? I'd love to hear you and Seb chat a little bit about this. I'm curious, and I think our viewers would be very curious to hear the conversations that happen between a VC and a protocol founder. Give us a little bit of a sense of what some of the things were that were important to you and how you think about this. And please feel free to address those questions directly to Seb.
Awesome. Well, Seb. So something that I'm really interested in is just understanding user types of Zapper. So right now, what is your current breakdown of user types? Who are the most popular users? And in the long run, do you envision that being the same? Do you envision that changing? I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so that's a really good question, and one that's very unique because of the industry we're in, and we have unique challenges as well. Crypto has a very pseudonymous aspect to it. And so it's very hard to know exactly who your users are, and what level they are actually. But from interacting a lot with the community, I'd say the space has shifted quite a lot. Early on, we had very, I'd say, technical users that were kind of like tinkerers, but then it quickly expanded to become a bit more like a mainstream audience. And so I'd say most of our users are very familiar with crypto. They've either held Bitcoin, Ethereum, or other coins on an exchange like Coinbase, but they never really kind of started their journey. And so we're seeing more and more people kind of going from exchanges and starting to use Zapper. And for them, it's their first. A lot of our users, it's their first foray in the Wild West of crypto. And I'd say it's starting to be the large majority. Also, another user segment that is growing is obviously right now a big theme in crypto is multi-chain, having a multi-chain ecosystem. And so we're seeing a lot of users coming in and using different chains as well as their first entry into DeFi.
Hey, if you like this clip, be sure to like and subscribe for more crypto-related content. Also, be sure to check out the full interview and more only on realvision.com/crypto.